Does this class as coming out of retirement?
Apparently it does, yes. But apparently I've got to come out once a year and keep my boots for this every single year. So, yes.
Are you looking forward to something? Because some people would accuse you, perhaps, of not having a clue about the rules of rugby league, which obviously is a lie. But, he says, what is going to happen on Sunday?
Well, you tell me, because you know one thing that we'll be able to shout from the stands, which is true, and you don't know what you're doing, is probably actually one thing that they can get. And yeah, somebody said, well, he's not known what he's been doing for the last 25 years, so what's the point now? What's the difference? I think the concept's brilliant. I really do. I think if it would have been half rugby union, half rugby league, the fact that we've got where Ed and Rob, along with Phil Daly, who I think's done a brilliant job for this, at Leeds Rhinos, what they've put together, this hybrid model, I do think will be something different. I like how the fact that rugby union is far more technical than rugby league. So I'd have never, ever refereed rugby union. And I still sit there now thinking, I don't get this. Whereas on the rugby league side, I believe the ball is more in play far more. You put the two together and you have line-out scrums, but you have a rugby league play the ball. So we don't have people diving in and we're not sure what's going on the technical side of that. That takes away half a dozen penalties in a game, maybe more in rugby union, that they'd expect to have, because that area is tied up. It's only 5 metres, so I'm quite happy about that. I'll carry on refereeing it for quite a few more years, unless I go to 10. That sort of brings it back more together. And the fact that you have unlimited tackles in one half, and then you get in the other half, it's 6 tackles, but I think we'll see the ball thrown around, which is a difference from rugby league. Normally they'll be kicking out the 20 if they're tackled in there. We actually can keep going for a little bit, and I think it'll be faster. Be interested in certain bits of the game, and people who are playing and things like that, well, it's throw down fatigue sets in, probably for me anyway, because I intended not training for a while after I did my last game. But I think, you come here, they've done so much in the past for MND, and when Rob was with us, that it was brilliant when you did games involving his family being there. The 2020 game where it was like a benefit of him and Jamie Jones Buchanan, where there was 20-odd thousand plus. I won't ask, nobody will look at the safety briefing notes. I was in that day because there were people on concourses, sat on steps, sat on people's knees and everything. That was brilliant, and I rate that game as one of the most privileged I had in the sport, even when in front of cup finals and grand finals and test matches and things like that. That really was special.
Scrums. We're playing rugby union rules on scrums. Because the rugby league scrums are completely...
No, they're uncontested.
Oh, they're uncontested. So you just give penalties for whatever, then that's what they're doing in rugby union.
Well, we won't be doing that. I've already had a word with him about that. And I like Frank's way of refereeing as well. He let the game flow. Because obviously he played as well, so he got that. Because the rugby union referee will be on the field. So we're using a bit of a, if you like, old NRL 2-referee model of refereeing. He said, well, I don't need to look after the ruck because we're not doing it. You can do that, but now they're the 10. I was like, no, it's only 5, so I'll be happy to do the 5. But I think the concept of it is really good. And it'd be interesting to see how things come about.
We're going to have 40-20 kicks.
We are going to have 40-20 kicks. We're going to have where the team can steal the ball 1-on-1, but not 2-on-1. Where over the try line is similar, so you can just play on if somebody steals the ball. We're not having contested scrums. Probably because the players are coming out of retirement, and some of them, like myself, might have not done much in the last few years. So diving together and somebody getting injured, it's not about that. I think it's about having fun, showing people that there can be a future and a hybrid model between the sports. And also raising the great awareness that's already been done in rugby union and rugby league for MND.
I was going to ask you about the future, because nobody can see it, but we can always look back. Do you think this might be the moment where in 10, 20 years' time we go, the germination of the two codes becoming one was on that pitch at Headingley and you refereed it? Well,
it's quite funny. Once I agreed to do this, somebody very high up in rugby league, who I admire greatly and has been involved in sport in an administrative way, it still is in a professional club and was at the governing body for a hell of a long time. He said this is the start of the future. You never know what happens in 20, 30 years' time. You don't, do you? But looking back, this could be the day where the sport does maybe come together. Or do you because Rugby League has its place and Rugby Union has its place. Both codes definitely have. You can see it from the fans following. This could be something special though. We look at Football Aid and things like that they have every year, and they get people back. I think that can definitely happen within MND, and also to later on down the line incorporate other charities and other fundraising events, because it's quite clear that professional sportsmen and women and your celebrities, your actors, your singers, etc., if they push things, then people get behind it. So the legacy that will live on from Rob and Doddy and Ed, who is still fighting this horrible illness now, that down the line, their names will be linked to MND forever. And obviously all the research and the funding that can come from this is only huge and will benefit everyone. So it's not people in sport, not just Rugby League, not just Leeds Rhinos and people of Leeds. It's everybody, and the families, that we'll call it, people who have MND, that in the future the research and things like that will be there to help and support their families.
So after the game, do you have to go up to the secretary's office and get your expenses?
Oh no, there'll be none of that. I hope we all do it. I'm certainly doing it for free, and I'm more than happy. I'd been retired, this is a little before. I'd been retired a day. It was announced I was retiring, and about an hour and a half after I had a message off Lindsay Robb's widow who said, congratulations, Ben. There's another paragraph underneath, and I was like, what's this? And it said, I want a favour. I don't see it as a favour, I see it as a complete privilege and an honour. And I responded straight away to say, don't be daft. Of course, I'm honoured, and I am honoured to be involved in it.
You were described by some headlines as iconic. Do you feel that you are an iconic referee? Because I have no idea what that means.
Well, I don't, and I don't. I think I've been all right. I've tried to be fair. Maybe because I've been around a hell of a long time. Well, I got promoted when we didn't have mobile phones. Jerry Kershaw rang me on the landline to tell me that I'd been promoted to grade 1 because we didn't have mobile phones, we didn't have social media, we had their emails. The game has evolved. No, I don't. I think I've done all right. I think I've been a good average referee, and I've gone out there and enjoyed it. It is about players, not refs, and the paying spectators and the public want to see players playing. And maybe because I had a stigma earlier on of being play on Ben and letting the game flow, I've also believed that it is about the players and communicating with the players. You communicate with the players, you get the best out of them. The game flows. You get respect off the players, so you get it back. It works two ways. And again, games aren't stop-start. Sometimes after a bit. Sometimes, and because of the competition and where people are at and the fierce rivalry, some games you have to step up as a referee and you might give 30 penalties, but actually the week after you might give 6 because you referee what is in front of you. And one thing that I have liked, and I was very humble when I finished, the amount of players, former coaches, administrators and clubs that have messaged me, I'm truly humbled, and I weren't the best at all. There have been far better referees than me. But I gave it my best shot, and I had a style which I thought worked. If I'd have changed slightly, I would have probably got far more honours than I did. But no, I'm happy. Iconic, it is nice, some of the nice words, but no, that's not me.
We're running a book on Sunday. At what point will you be sending off Kind of Lulu, do you think?
Oh, I don't think I'll be doing that. I think I had somebody put on something the other day that the last time, in fact, in 2020, he hit somebody from Bradford. It was like, I don't know, it was like a train crash or what. I've never seen anybody like this poor kid's head. And he didn't make contact with his head, he just hit him. And I think he walked running into a brick wall. And I said, next time, try not to kill him. And I forgot, obviously, it was mic'd up and we were on live Sky. As well as I told the time, Rob had just come on and things like that. And I told the timekeeper to not bother blowing the hooter for 5 minutes and let people watch the game. Or the touchers not to put his flag up when the ball went near touch, but because that was something obviously different, like that, because it ended up being. And Bradford did a really good job on that. I mentioned before, one of the most humbling things I've seen in sport was when we did the toss just near the tunnel, and John Keir came up, who was coaching Bradford at the time, and handed over to one of the guys from Leeds an envelope with hundreds of thousands. Well, I think it was something like over £1,000 in it. Because all the lads who played in that day for Bradford and their coaching staff and the support staff actually gave and paid in as they were through the gates. So they'd all paid to actually play. And I thought that was pretty class.
Are you looking forward to having Danny McGuire back on the field as an assistant for you? Because he did that quite a lot for all Super League officials in his career, and at Gale in fairness.
Oh, it'll be all right. Well, they're quite challenging, Gale. I've always got on the Gale. In fact, I laugh. I once got into trouble for telling him to keep his hair on and things like that, because he might have had it done somewhere and things like that. And I thought, you're doing quite well. It's going back during the match. But yeah, there's some great characters. There were characters. If you manage people, you get the respect for it, or you just turn your back and smile and walk away. There's the old adages years ago, like all the referees pulling, before we had mics and things like that, pulling players over to them, making it look like you were giving them the biggest roasting in the world, and actually saying, if you pack this in, don't pack this in, your mum will be very upset if I send you off. And by the way, I'm going in the Midland for a drink on the way home. You can buy me. And it was like, wow, you don't do that now. But that was, and all the crowds, he's giving him a load of grief. Or players who, iconically, would always walk out when you're given a try just to talk to you. It's like, what do you want? Well, nothing, but these all think I'm giving you crap. And my coach has told me to do it because all the crowd will get on your back. And you just turn around sometimes and go, no, walk away, or you just get a card out and say, see you later in about 10 minutes. But no, I like that. I love the characters of Breers, Brough, Danny, Gale, people like that. And if you can manage them players, I think you can manage anything, because that brings you situations. And if you manage them, and you Jake Connors now, who I believe is a class player, if you manage him right, and you can tell when a player is quite heightened and frustrated and things like that, there's a difference between frustration and dissent. And it might take a long time to work out as a referee and experience over the years that actually, no, that weren't aimed at you, is actually swearing at himself, or just calm down, go over there for 5 minutes, and like you might have, or you get a tap on the shoulder, I'm sorry. And at that player-referee relationship, if you get that, it works, and that can only benefit the game.